The money.
Here we go.
Hello and welcome to Money on the Floor Nadex Trading. Right now we're going over our templates. We just came out with the 1 hour template and I think things are probably a little confusing. So I wanted to go over everything today. So we got our simplest template. This is our first one. This is our first Nadex template. And it's very simple. You get in the green arrow. You actually have a trade. Once everything's green right about there, you would trade it up to the next arrow. It still goes, still goes, still goes. Next arrow, you got it. Trade one. Red arrow, looking for red, all red right there. Trade it down, get to the green arrow, you're done. It's as simple as can be. A lot less things to make it complicated. Sometimes that's a good thing. Got your same iPanel trend over here. We have a different one down here for the to tell trend whether it's up or down. We got our GG trend bar. We got our RSI. So it still works. It's actually very simple, very good. Sometimes simple is best. So it's hard to say. And then we got our next runner up was our last one, not the last one, the one before this one. But this here is we got a stochastic, RSI, another RSI in here. Other than that, everything else is still the same. Now this is set up for a 15-minute chart, which seems to work the best. And basically get the green arrow. Come down here, waiting for everything to get all green. Let me put the cursor on so we can see it better. And we don't get all green till, well, actually, nope, not till right there, but the candle's red. So really, the all green is until that magenta line. You know, you can see it kept you out of this bad stuff. And from here, it goes up. Over here, the same. You get the red candles, looks good. You could have jumped in. I mean, you still can up here. You just got to remember that it's not a safe trade till everything's red, which is right there, the magenta. If you got in up here, all that happened is if you cross this line, you have to exit the trade. And that goes for any of the ones we have. Also, we have the green arrow here. Where the magenta line is, everything's green. There you start your trade. And again, if you went past these two green lines and closed, you would close the trade. But we moved up. We went above the moving average. We came back below, above. Kept going back and forth. Now in here, everything's red. It's a little scary. Your oscillator's still green though, so you could stay in. As long as the oscillator's green too, we only got 3 of them red. If they all go red, you should exit the trade. Now we're looking good. We didn't drop too far below. We stayed right on everything, right on the 50 moving average. Stayed right on it. Kept going up. Went all the way to target. Got out. Good trade. Another trade right here. We got the red arrow. Everything lines up right here. Red, magenta line. It pulls back up, and then it runs down to target. Exits the trade. When the market's moving strong, it's easy to trade. The problem is when you get trades, well, this one's not so bad. You get the magenta line, you get in right here, everything's green. You traded it up, you're into profit, you get a red candle, start to panic. I know I would. Start losing profit, start coming back up. Everything turned red right there. Exit the trade. Don't even mess around. You're already in profit. Probably as soon as I saw this first red candle start coming down, I'd probably exit the trade. It's hard to say. But for sure, when you get all 4 things red, even though you're not to target, you could have held it. I mean, but you don't know. What if this thing drops and you lose your money? The whole idea about trading that I've found to make me profitable is that to control your losses. And right now you're controlling your losses by exiting here because of fear. Fear says this thing might drop. Now you can say, okay, we're still above the moving average. That is the only thing that would keep me in that trade. But if you already made a bunch of money up to here, just exit the trade. But if you didn't, let's say you got in late to the party over here, and you went up into profit, you came back down, well then yes, I would wait. I would wait and say, okay, as long as we don't cross this 50 moving average right here, which we crossed to here, but we didn't close below. As long as we don't close below the 50 moving average, I'll stay in the trade. Stay in the trade, stay in the trade. Then it worked out. Boom, went to target. But that's hard to do. Trust me, it's not that easy. When you're already up a lot of money here, you might want to exit the trade. But then you can say to yourself, I'm aggressive, I need more money, or I didn't make enough money. And as long as it stays above this moving average, which is a buy situation, anytime you're above the 50 is a buy, below the 50 is a sell. Very simple. It's a good, easy way to think about it. But this one went to target. Just being able to stay in that trade, that's the hard part. This is that same trade. Here's another one right here. We have a red arrow. We got the trade, went into profit, pulled back up, went above, closed. You're waiting for the next candle. It came back below. Okay, should I close it? I mean, it's a little scary. Everything's still red, so I guess I'll stay in the trade and went to target. But your mind's going to mess with you right now. That's the problem. But it didn't close above. It did close above, but it jumped right back down. So it went up, spiked, pulled back down. Next candle was down below, and you would have probably stayed in the trade. But still, you got to keep your wits about you. You have to have your rules. You have to know your rules. That's what will keep you in that trade. We have one over here. It's a buy trade. Everything's green at this magenta line. You would buy. Goes up, pulls back. Did I get it at the wrong time? You don't even need to think anything like that. As long as we don't close below these two lines, and look, everything's still green. So there's no reason to even think. Even if you got a big spike down here, I wouldn't, unless your stop loss was right in here, then I guess you get taken out. But right, if you got a big spike down, there's no reason to get out of the trade until you see all these start to turn red. Because right now it's just pulling went to target. Excuse me. You know, went to target and made money. So, but still, you start to see it cross, and you start to panic. The idea is this system keeps you from panicking, keeps you from being nervous, keeps you from making mistakes. Because mistakes, that's what kills you. Whether it's hitting the wrong button, whether it's getting out too soon, whether it's letting fear and greed act upon you. Nothing worse than you go into a trade, you feel it's going to go down, you get out, then it goes back in your favor anyway, which is to pull back. Let me see, is that all I had on here? That's all we had for this here. And then we have our newest system, which is our 1 hour chart. We'll go over that one. Now, this one, just to go over it, you don't have to wait for the arrow. You can, but you don't have to. Basically, you got everything red right here. It has the arrow. You would get in, you would take it down. Where do you exit? Exit when they're either all green, or the way I like to do it, when I get two green ones, I will exit. There's three indicators here. If two of them go green, I will exit. The other way to do it is if we broke below the 50 and we start to break above, you know you should close that trade. Because it's starting to go the other way. Remember, above the 50 is buy. Below is sell. It broke below. And all of a sudden it started getting a green candle. Should I get out? Should I hold it? Everything's still red. Everything's red. Well, we're starting to get green on the RSI. We're starting to go above it. We got green down here. I better exit. I mean, that's the way it's going to go through in your head. Now, at that time, you got everything green. You can buy that trade. And you can buy it up. Where do you get out? You get out on everything red right here, which is at that top piece right here, so you would have made money. Where do you sell? Everything's red right here. Candle's red, everything's red. See, once this thing closed, the red candle popped open, everything's red. You would sell that. You would come down and you got two green ones right here. I'd probably exit the trade. Now, we did go below, and once you see start to spike up, I'd probably close it anyway. I wouldn't even wait for the two green ones. But it'd be really close to getting them anyway. But that's how that one works. Now, it's safest to wait for the arrows, but you don't get arrows for a long time. So if you wait for just arrows, you might not have a trade for a while. Let's see if we have any other trades behind us. No, just after there. Okay, that'll work. Maybe get it back. There we go. So here we got the green arrow. Everything's green in the magenta. That's why I put it on there. It's just easy for me to find it. You buy it, it pulled back. I don't know where your stop is. Hopefully your stop's just on the other side of this and you're still safe. From there, it pulled back up, went to target. Great trade. This is a 1 hour chart. It's going to be a lot of pips in here. So if you got in about here, right here, and we went to target right about there. There's that 27 pips. It's pretty good. So that would be great. 27 pips, boom. For me, it looks like a few $100 easy. If you got like 30 contracts, 20 contracts, it could be easily $100. Even 5 contracts would probably be $100 right here. So you made money there, and where's the next trade? You got the red arrow. Everything's red right here. You could sell here. Pulled back up. You panic. Nope, didn't cross, didn't cross, didn't cross. It crossed, it closed, it came back, it crossed, it closed. It depends how big your stop is. If it hits your stop, you're out. If not, boom, it went down to target. So it's just a chance you got to take. Now, over here, look, we never got 2 green except for right here. So now if you were able to hang on, you got into profit, you could close it on the 2 green because it's starting to go back up. I'd be worried about that. So I'd probably close it there on the 2 green if I was already in this trade. I got on here and I saw this as probably a break-even trade just because I panicked. Went above, came back below, got all red. Everything's red here. You could get back in and trail it down and then get out when you got 2 green, which is right here. You would have made money. Not a lot. It looks actually that one would have probably made pretty good, actually, yeah. Now right here we got everything green again. You can get back in, ride it on up. You got 2 red at this point, you made money. So you don't have to wait for the arrow. Now we don't have any trade in here because we don't have all of them. Here we go, all red right here. You can get in here. We're underneath the 50. It says sell. You would trade it. You never got 2 green, never got 2 green. You got 2 green right here. You could start to panic maybe and get out. You made money. Or you held it. Say, okay, I'll hold it, but then it starts going up. It started to cross the 50. I think I'd be panicking. So I think I'd probably be closing in here. It would have been a break-even trade again. But if for some reason you held it, it went to target, and that sucked. Kept going down, went all the way down to target. Now over here we had 3 green. You would have exited at this point for sure. So you never made it to target, but you made it pretty good if you got in. It's a mind game. There's no right or wrong. So I mean, if you got in here and you rode this down to where we got the 2 green, you still made money. There's nothing wrong with that. You made money. Now, if you could hold it and get down to here, you'd made more money, but that's tough to do. Not so easy when you're looking at that right edge of the chart and you're panicking. And as long as you're already into profit, sometimes it's better just close it and look for another trade. There's lots of trades. It's one thing I can tell you, there's always trades. So if you feel uncomfortable, to protect your losses, you close that trade. I mean, that's the best thing to do. Here we got a buy arrow, all green right here. You get in, you probably get in right about here, and it doesn't turn anywhere all red. Great, goes all the way to target. Easy trade. We already seen these before. This one here went straight down here. You see when it crossed back up. So hopefully this helps you understand the systems. I'm always trying to make them better. This was the new indicator we added, and we took away the other 2 for the 1 hour. Now you can also use this on a 15-minute. Nothing wrong with that. You need to experiment, play with it, and try things. Time frame, sorry, 15-minute here. Now it's going to be different. You can't go by those. Like right here, a strong trade still going to be exactly the same. You got in. Where do you exit? You exit when you get 2 green. But now it did go down below the moving average, the 50. When it popped back up, I would have closed it because that would have been good profit right there. I mean, you're all red. You're going down below. You could get in here, but then you're popping around. It's getting a little edgy, sketchy here. It's hard to say what I'd do. You'd have to be in it. Right here, we got all green at this point. You could get in and still be in this trade. So this here was the 1 hour chart. What told you go in here, but for the 15-minute, it's back in here. So they're a little bit different trades. So they're going to be usually smaller. Like right here, you got one. You get in here, you keep going, you're above the 50, drop back below. You got 2 red right here. I'd close it at that point. Actually, you got all 3 red. I'd close it. You could probably close it back here at the 2 red and still get out above. I mean, none of these are wrong. They're just, you got to decide what's best for you. You can close at 2 opposite colors or 3. But definitely when you go below and back up, like we're above the moving average, you drop below, I'd probably close it right in here anyway. So, but when it's a strong trade, it doesn't matter. Look, it's all red. The thing just runs down all the way to target. Boom. You want the strong trades. That's the whole key. Now you got this one here. It all goes green here. You get in, goes up. You get that big red candle. You got 2 red right here. I'd think about dumping it. You got 3 red. I'd probably dump it at this point. But if you held it, it just kept on going. But that's hard to say. Easy to, it's easy to say and hard to do. That's what I'm trying to say. I knew I'd get it out eventually. But I mean, you still got other opportunities. If you're watching this, you got all green here. You could get in, then went all the way up to target. It's always stayed above the moving average. You never had to worry. So you can trade it on the 15. It just depends on your time, or you can trade on the 1 hour. The 1 hour is definitely easier. It's going to keep you in the trade longer. And it doesn't hurt to have both of them on, but then you might get some indecision. That's the problem. All right, you guys. I think we talked enough here. So all these, if you buy the one template, it's $50. It's still 50. It's going to go up to 100 pretty soon. But right now it's still 50. You get all 3 templates. And I already have a robot out for the all or nothing robot for the confirmation. It just makes it easier. It tells you when there's a trade. I'm going to make one up for the new chart. It also has a close on it too. So if you are using this and you want to trade Forex, you could. But that's going to go for sale for $100, and that'll include any updates, any other robots I make that are for the all or nothing templates. And as we're always making them better. It never ends. So we just keep making them. So once you're in, you're in. So anyway, those are going to go on for the robots are going to go up for sale for $100, and you'll get the one robot. But I'm working on the next robot, and we'll go from there. All right, you guys. Have a great evening. We'll talk to you soon, and make some money out there. Bye-bye.
Dollar, dollar.